Oh,
Okay.
here we are.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I guess we're just gonna talk about, we'll start with you. What do you pack in your range bag?
So it depends on what I'm doing, how many guns I'm bringing to the range. Like, like if I'm filming or doing some sort of testing, a lot of times it gets a little extreme.
Hold on, time out. Let's preface this with, you used to carry your guns in a 5-gallon bucket
With
wrapped in t-shirts and towels. So
Yeah.
won't put too much emphasis on what he says. But anyway, go ahead.
So if I'm going to the range just to work on skills, I normally will bring the pistol range bag. I might bring a Concord. It just depends on if I'm working revolver and semi-autos, I'll generally bring the Concord. If I'm working just one or the other, I'll bring the pistol range bag, a couple boxes of ammo. I use the dividers or the inserts as a divider. Put my ammo in one section, separate out my guns, throw magazines, a shot timer, and then in the pockets, I keep a Maglula loader, which I actually have tied off with paracord to one of the zippers. And then I always keep cleaning stuff. So I'll keep just some degreaser in there and some lube, as well as a little piece of T-shirt. Because I'm shooting a lot more revolvers now, I keep a nylon brush to brush the revolvers off. One thing I don't keep in there that I should is some sort of rod to punch brass out if I get a stuck case. And yeah, I know you love these as well, fix-it sticks.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
Every range bag needs fix-it sticks. That is and not necessarily fix-it sticks, but some sort of...
You got to have some kind of tool kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crucial. It's funny you mentioned the dividers, because going off on a little tangent here, but, we used to make them with the actual stuff built in them. Now we're making them more modular to where if you just want to use them as dividers, you can just put them in as dividers, and they're actually more padded because of the loop field that we're using on those. So you can actually just use them as dividers, and we sell them as dividers now. So we're actually more in tune with how you set yours up. Instead of having something that actually mounts to it, you just use it as a separator.
So, look at what you bring to the range. It's basically ammo, iPro, Ear Pro. Yeah. So on the pistol range bag, I keep my iPro in one end, my Ear Pro right next to it, and then on the other end, I keep the cleaning stuff and the fix-it sticks.
Yep. So in that same regard, when we were making our latest bag, it's called the Valkyrie. It should be out hopefully before Christmas. We opened it up because people were basically using kind of how you are. You're more in it. You're operating out of it. And so instead of getting there and taking everything out, you're putting stuff back in. And you're leaving stuff that you're not actively using in the bag versus setting it out on a table. So we don't have like a rollout mat. We don't have any of that stuff in this new bag. But we've opened it up, made it bigger, and created that division to where you can create dividers as you see fit. So you can run them long ways, or you can run them side to side. So you'll have that much more organization and modularity. With this new bag.
It's a lot easier for me just to pull out my guns. I lock the slide back with the revolvers, open up the cylinder so you can see everything safe, point them down range, and then every time I get to the range, I'm going to need iPro, going to need Ear Pro, and I've got Peltors for my handgun setup, and like the big comfortable ones. They're horrible for shooting rifles because they will hit the cheek weld.
Oh yeah,
they're great for pistols though. They're not that much, like $150. They're worth every penny of that.
So you'll like this. One of our customers, a really good customer of ours, bought a ton of bags from us. He communicates with me a couple times a year, and he basically shared his layout, which helps us with R&D. But he keeps his guns, and this is something we didn't really consider, but he keeps all of his guns in a holster in the bag.
Yeah.
So that division how you lay yours out is actually more in tune with probably how people are carrying it versus taking it out, putting it in a holster in a holder in the bag, and then putting the holster somewhere else in the bag. I think a lot more people are taking additional guns in their holsters and putting them in the bag. So something to consider, which I'm sure you love to hear that because they're carrying holsters. Yeah, so they've got a holster for every gun, which you really should if you're going to carry it. But Just an interesting tidbit.
So, have you thought about like shot timers and all? So that's where I carry the Concorde sometimes. So the Concorde, you've got 2 more pockets, a larger interior space. On the other 2 pockets, though, it gets a little heavy. Like I ended up carrying 2 fix-it sticks plus another toolkit, and then I've got way larger amounts of cleaning supplies. I've got what is the brand? I think it's G Code or HSGI. Some of their like universal style mag carriers that I can just throw their paddles, so I can throw a pistol mag in there. Any pistol mag, they're great to have for training purposes. Just throw them on, easy to use the range with any magazine, and then shot timer. That's one thing about the pistol range bag. If I'm carrying more than 2 guns, there's not really room for my shot timer.
So you do have a good point there, because I was actually going through mine the other day. I have 2 shot timers. I have the SG timer, the Shooter's Global timer, which if you haven't checked that out, I highly recommend everybody check out the SG timer. That is by far.
You got detailed reviews up on your site, right?
It's on our list of best shot timers. It's actually number 1 in our opinion, but I haven't done a full, complete write-up on it, but I need to. But I highly recommend it, and we actually have a coupon code that saves $15. They're a little expensive, but
how much do they run roughly? I know you don't.
I think 200.
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
I think. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But it's a couple $100. They're more expensive than like the blue ones, the competition pro ones.
I think those are about $150. Right?
They're more expensive than all of those. But this thing has leaps and bounds features over it. It has a range. It has like a range officer mode where it doesn't track that stuff. So like if you're just doing it for somebody else, and then it has profiles that keeps track of your split times, keeps track of all your data. And then it also has dry fire modes. It's incredible. Like the screen's cool, good battery life, and it has this clip-on thing that actually is magnetic. So you can pull it off without actually taking the clip off of your belt. So you pull it off and look at your thing and do whatever you need to do, and then just pop it back on just like that because it's magnetic. Anyway, went down that rabbit hole, but that's a really cool shot timer. But I also have that one and the Pro Competition or Pro Electronics blue one.
And also this, avoid the pack timer.
Yeah, don't get the pack timer.
They work great for like a year, and then they always break, and you can't get them fixed.
Yeah, they're if that's all you can get it. But just know that probably short longevity. But yeah, I was looking at it, and I just keep them in my end pocket. But I don't like that because they just kind of bounce around. So did make me think what's a better way to carry the shot timers to prioritize their security. And because again, you invest a good bit of money in these shot timers, and they're not that. I will give credit to the Shooter's Global timer. It's a little bit more rugged. It's a little bit more well built, and they even sell a rugged one. I think that is a little bit more beefed up than like the Pro Electronics. Like that thing's made out of.
So what do you
plastic?
What do you do for iPro?
I typically wear my sunglasses. And I need to get, it's funny. We make bags, but I'm like the worst when it comes to having pre-set up bags that you can just throw whatever gun you're taking in and go, and it be completely set up. I do okay. Like I need a toolkit, and a few other things. One of the things I always put in mine are D-lead wipes. I use the Hero wipes, but I know there's some other brands out there. You have some kind of.
I think it's D-lead wipes.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
But that's really important though, because a lot of people don't realize lead poisoning, that sort of thing, is a concern.
Yeah.
And if you got little kids, you want to make sure you're not touching your little kids after you've been shooting.
Yeah. I always just I'll hand them out. But I like the Hero wipes just because I like the little package that they come in. Nothing wrong with the D-lead wipes. Yeah. Those come in good package too. But I keep those in there. And there's one thing that I feel like we need to come out with and develop. There's no real good way. Now, we have the ammo dump pouch, but that's if you want to carry loose ammo. I personally have those little plastic boxes. Who makes those?
Plastic boxes for
ammo. They're in the tray. You have them too. But they have different the ammo cans.
Yeah,
they're plastic ammo cans. That's how I carry ammo. But I think we need to make something. I know they have the bang boxes and things like that, but we need to make something that goes in our bag better, that holds different ammos. Because unless you're carrying it with the box, it's kind of cumbersome.
So I used to shoot in an indoor range a lot more, and when I got Gator glasses, but I got the clear lenses.
Right.
So those take up a lot of space, the case for those. If you're going to get Oakley's or whatever ballistic rated glasses, they take up space. They're expensive. And then your Ear Pro. That is one thing, though. iPro and Ear Pro stays consistent from every bag I have, and I'm not going to spend, roughly about $300-$400 to outfit each bag.
Yeah.
With different iPro, Ear Pro. So it would be cool to see something that makes it easier to keep those components, so I can just more easily switch them.
It's almost like
to a different bag,
like a box.
Yeah,
not a box, but just not a bag either, but like something that holds it sturdy.
Maybe something that could attach to your existing products in some way.
Yeah, or just at least slide in a pocket where it's it's there, and if you are switching it between bags, it's just grab that one thing and throw it in there. That's not a bad idea, because and everybody takes different stuff to the range, but we send out a survey to our pistol range bag customers and ask them, hey, what do you carry to the range? And it's usually, I think the vast majority of people are carrying 3 to 5 guns, and then of course ammo, staplers, hearing protection, eye protection, pretty much the standard stuff. You do get some crazy outline things that are very specific to certain people, and unfortunately, you can't make something for everything. But in the toolkits, those are a big deal. So we have quite a few pockets to put that stuff in, but we're really focusing on organization and keeping things organized and ready to go.
I'll say toolkit-wise, that's the big thing I like about Fix It sticks. It takes up a very small amount of room in the bag itself and doesn't weigh a lot.
Yeah.
Most of the other toolkits out there can get pretty bulky.
Yeah, they get bulky. And, look at, cleaning kits. A lot of cleaning kits. Now, there's a couple that are small, and you just put them together, and, they're zipper pouched, and you just throw them in there. That's another thing. You need to take some kind of oil. It was funny at our last range shoot where we do our photography and everything. I had a brand new AR that I just built. That Fortis gun, that multicam black Fortis gun. I think that's sweet, by the way. It needs some oil, and I didn't have any, but thankfully everybody else I was with was more prepared than me, naturally, and so that's another thing. You gotta have some oil, some gun oil. Well, I hate rim oil, but whether it's rim oil or what, something to add lubrication, because in
a pinch WD-40 rim oil, it can work.
Yeah, it does, but if I like to use the ALG stuff.
Yeah.
But, there's all kinds of stuff you can use.
So I was at a guys trip weekend last weekend, and guy had an Auto Ordnance M1 carbine clone, and he was going to shoot it. This guy didn't have a lot of experience. He had CZ75, which was well maintained, but I think he was borrowing this from his dad maybe. And he goes to shoot it, gets one round off. After that one round, everything else after it doesn't cycle. And
clean? Need to be clean? Or
it was meticulously clean. It had not been lubed, though. I don't know if it had ever been shot before.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So I walk up. I'm like, hey, just wait a minute, dude. Put a little ALG on it. Had him cycle a few times. Put a little bit more. He cycled it. Throws a mag in. It worked fine.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Ran in the same thing with a brand new PSA Dagger. And then, the first thing is they're going to be like, oh, well, it's a cheap, polymer frame pistol. I'm like, oh, time out. I've got a Dagger, and it's red. It ran flawlessly. Give it to me, broke it down, lubed up the rails, boom, boom, but no problems. Thought it was a magazine issue, but no, wasn't magazine, nothing. There's nothing wrong with it. Just need a little bit of oil.
So I've heard some crazy stories from you. We've all heard the guys, hey, Glock can go 5,000 rounds without cleaning or whatnot. Without cleaning, yes. It'll go approximately 3,000 rounds before it will start failing hard if you do not have oil on it.
Yeah.
Because I have...
It's like not having oil in your engine, basically. They're mechanical parts. So
yeah.
You got to have some kind of lubrication. Otherwise, that carbon is just going to lock it up.
You can get away with not cleaning your guns at all for a very long time on most guns, but you do need to apply oil.
Yeah.
I'm not endorsing not cleaning your guns, but oil is more important than anything. So always have oil in your range bag, and oil is cheap.
I feel attacked when you're talking about not cleaning guns because, I don't do a very good job cleaning my guns. I do keep them oiled, though.
Yeah. If you got oil on a gun, though, it'll run.
Yeah. But, yeah, what you take to the range is just the essentials for the most part because you don't want to overkill. Like, you don't need every scenario under the sun. Now, one thing, we've talked about before is batteries for optics. There's nothing worse than getting to the range. Matter of fact, my Noveski got it out there and went to pull it up, and I was like, oh, optics not on. Hit it, and I was like, it's dead. And I'm looking around, and of course, this gun's like a Gen 2, Gen 3, so it's got just a holosun on it. It's not like decked out or anything cool. Because it sits most of the time. I just drug it out for this photo because I'm like, we don't have a lot of photos of this thing, so I put it in the lineup. Nobody had anything to open the battery door on the holosun, and then I was like, I can go back to the house and get a battery, but nobody had a battery either. So I was like, man, like you'd be up Shit's Creek if you're at some far out range, and you just have to roll with it. And so fortunately, it didn't really matter. We were just
And with most optics, it's not really a concern. But if you look at like so I had an EOTech when I was out with my buddies. I do not have 500 hours on that battery, which is what I believe the EOTechs are rated for. I'm lucky if I have 100 on that specific optic. Battery was dead.
Oh yeah.
So
that's that's one thing like you need to have.
And that's not a go-to gun either, thankfully.
You got to have batteries in your range bag. I mean, I hate to say it, and I don't have them. But that's one thing that I'm going to change probably today.
Yeah.
Because I have the batteries. They're just not in the range bag. Why not keep it all in the range bag?
Well, it's finding a good way to store them efficiently. Yeah. And then there's a big difference between a CR123 and like a little 2033 or 30, 20, whatever the numbers are on the little watch batteries. Yeah. They go on an Aimpoint Micro or a Trijicon RMR versus what you're going to put in an EOTech.
Yeah,
it takes different space.
But see, that's you need a little battery holder and with just different compartments that hold those batteries because you're going to need them. And you're going to need them at the worst time, which is you've gone out for a half day or a whole day at the range and your battery's dead, and now you're scrambling. And if it's your backwoods range, you're not going to find a battery.
And I'm going to say this too. This is why, my 14.5, one of my go-to ARs and my Honey Badger, they're always topped off with fresh batteries. Everything's good to go. But the rest of my guns, you just can't. Once you get a collection over a certain size, you've got to focus on. I change out my 2 Glock carry guns with optics on them. Those batteries get changed out on my birthday every year. But most of my other handguns,
that's smart. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
just put them on a day like your birthday.
Yeah, first of the year.
Yeah,
Easter, Halloween, whatever works.
Yeah, it'd be your hungover activity on New Year's Day. Changing batteries.
Batteries upside down doesn't work.